And we have a special blessing today. Reverend Sharon's with us again, so yay! We'll let her over the message.
Anyway, good to see you all again. It's good to be here. Anybody else get just thrown off a little bit with the watching and clapping?
Right.
I had to turn off the sight and turn into... Anyway, it is so good to be here. Really, really, really good. I got this little booklet about a week or 2 weeks ago. Anybody else get those? Yeah, several of you. This one is called Healing 1,000 Different Ways. And about a week ago, I picked it up to see if I found anything that was an inspiration, for today's talk. And I really, the title itself, Healing 1,000 Different Ways, was interesting, but it didn't go, It was, okay, we'll see. But that was the end of the whole humness. I turned one page, and it was like the universe was saying, talking in my ears, "This is for you, Sharon. Everyone listen to this." And it was really true. This little booklet, I would highly recommend it if you don't have it. For those of us who sometimes lapse into old habits or don't keep up with the ones that we want to necessarily, this was a real eye-opener. Started on the very first page. This very first page is just an introduction from the Unity people saying this is the booklet. And it hit me right away, like, whoa, holy cow. The very first paragraph on this page is referring to healing that Charles and we know the story, Charles and Myrtle, their experiences with healing is the foundation of Unity. So we're all used to that. And as the story goes, Myrtle, once she heard that message, I am a child of God and therefore I don't inherit illness, she began to meditate, pray for several hours a day, blessing her body and so forth. And that was the beginning. She was able to heal herself of tuberculosis in 2 years. So that was the start. The second paragraph is referring to an article a woman who works at Unity wrote for the website, unity.org. The woman's name is Angie Olson. And it says that she wrote a beautiful article about trying to follow in Myrtle's footsteps. Many have tried to follow in Myrtle's footsteps. Following in the footsteps, and discovering healing is a lifelong journey. That was the first one. Boom. I can remember standing in Fillmore Chapel at Unity Village when I first started my ministerial path. I remember thinking, oh good, now I'm finally here, I'm on this path to become a minister, I'm going to finally get healed. I'll be whole, I'll be healed. It didn't take long to realize that no, that's not how this works. And it's more like an onion being peeled, and as the old layers fall off, like Eddie Watkins was talking about, I've released the past, I think we're all evolving forward, all the time. Or we want to be, I guess I'll say that. And then the next sentence, it says, Myrtle knew that too, that healing is a lifelong journey. She knew that too and persisted in meditation and healthy living for the rest of her life. Now that tells me two things. It tells me that she continued to meditate, have a regular meditation practice, and she followed healthy living. I don't know about you, but sometimes I want to step in and do something for about 15 minutes, and that's okay, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go to Sonic and get my blast. So, continuing the prayer meditation and the healthy eating. So I'm getting these booms on the side of my head, and I've only read about 6 sentences. So, holy cow, this is going to be something. So I got a lot out of this material, and I'm going to talk about it today. I hope that there's a kernel in here that is helpful for you too. Just spending a week with this has kind of reminded me of why I wanted to be in ministry, why I want to follow this path, and has helped me get back, into some old practices. So Angie's story, this Angie Olson, her story is first, and then other writers are describing various forms of healing in the rest of the pamphlet. It's pretty amazing. It says that Unity ministers and writers who have experienced healing 1,000 different ways, physical, emotional, psychological, healing from addiction, healing finances, even finding healing through music and laughter. Each article includes a practice, so it's got some really good stuff in here. But it also opened my eyes to all of the various ways that we might want we might pursue healing. We might think about healing. Okay, that was page 1. It's going to be a long day. No, so the first article is written by her, Angie Olson, and it's titled Healing 1,000 Different Ways. She starts off by saying that in her adulthood she had developed some health challenges, physical health challenges. And along with those, she was also being a full-time caregiver for her oldest son. She says that he had a life-threatening chronic condition that required around-the-clock monitoring. Have you ever been a caregiver for someone? It's exhausting. You know, you really need, if you're going to do that, you really need a support team. You need to tap into resources somehow, because it can be just exhausting. So here she is. She's got health challenges and she's doing this caregiver work. She then goes on to say that she got, from the time she wrote she said she was drawn to Unity 25 years ago from the time she wrote this. So I'm not sure when this was published, but anyway, she found Unity and stayed for 2 reasons. One was, she said, the inclusiveness that she experienced when she came. I don't know about you, but when I first went to a Unity church, it felt like I was home. I felt like I belonged. You know, there's so much of that, I think, and that inclusiveness was one big draw for her. And the second was she wanted to follow Myrtle's path. She talks a little bit about Myrtle and praying affirmatively with the intention to heal. She believed she could heal herself. That was another kind of a, pay attention. She believed that she could heal herself. Sometimes I think we get into magical thinking. You know, if we just, there's a phrase that I hear going around a lot, fake it till you make it. Maybe, but there's a difference between, well, let's try this and see if it works, I hope, and believing that it will work. Myrtle believed. When that phrase hit, something resonated inside and she knew that it was true. So that belief is really critical for healing. This next paragraph I think is really interesting. Angie says, I had a very specific idea about what it meant to be healed and thought if I followed Myrtle's path, then surely things would get better. But I often had this nagging voice in my head that said, it's not as if you can quit your job or ignore your responsibilities as caregiver to focus on healing. Who has hours a day for meditation like Myrtle did? Anybody ever feel like that? Oh, there's not time. In fact, there's an old adage. A student went to a master and said, Master, I don't have time to meditate a half an hour a day. And he said, if you don't have time to meditate a half an hour a day, then meditate for an hour. And then she says, and this kind of felt very personal too, she said, I felt like an imposter because I believed the teachings but was not using them consistently in my own life. Do you ever have that? Yes, me too. I remember when I was ordained, I kept saying, I'm a minister. I'm a minister. I was like, I couldn't believe it. You know? And now I read this, but I'm a minister. I got a bar set for how I think I need and want to be, and I don't always meet that bar. So as I looked around my house, I saw that some of what I think it includes to be what I want to be is regular meditation. Now, I'll be perfectly honest, it's been several years, 3 years since I've had a regular meditation routine, which means going into my meditation room and sitting. I looked at that room, it's piled. You know, I just got so much stuff in there. There are papers, and my sister went through some of her things and gave me some a toaster cover that I embroidered when I was a little girl, you know, things like that. I had to decide what I'm going to do with anyway, so here's this room, just got stuff in it, junk, stuff. This is not how I want to be. This is not how I want to be. She ends the next paragraph, she said, I was looking for complete healing all at once. And I know I've experienced that too, and then, it's more like, so I eat healthy for 2 days and then I run into the scale to see, okay, have I lost everything? It isn't instant results always. She said that as she read about the importance of sitting in silence and praying, my biggest barrier was my own belief that I could not possibly devote enough time and energy to do that. And there is some of that in me sometimes too. I don't have the time to. Although not a very big part, because when I was in school for a while, my colleague or a classmate and I decided for, I think, 3 months that we would meditate for 2 hours every evening. And it seems like, how could you do that? Well, it just seems like when you do that, time stretches somehow, and there's more than I thought. Anyway, then Angie says that she went to work for, or that she had been to work for Unity World headquarters off and on for like 15 years. When she came back the last time, like 3 years ago, she said she was just exhausted, tired. Those physical challenges that she had, they're still there, and they had compounded, so she had more than she did. She said, I was more than a little overwhelmed so many years later. Upon my return, I set a quiet intention that I was coming back to heal myself once and for all. Then she goes into a section where she talks about finding healing, listening to the body, and this, I think, this reminds me that I get caught up in all that's going on around me, in my life, my family, all the things that happen, and I might not be looking from that centered place. So what she said she did, she said, first of all, she started doing the tangible things that she knew that she could do and should do. For example, finding a good doctors actually, and then working with them to come up with things. Noticing how medicines and supplements and so forth, movement, how that made her body feel. It takes a commitment, a willingness to look at that, to, instead of just, okay, that's 30 minutes on the treadmill, notice how you feel, so she did that, and she said that was only the beginning, though. She recognized that some of the physical situations and conditions that she had were a result of experiences that she had in her life that had not been healed, unhealed places. She said she had deep trauma from her childhood and for early years of her son's diagnosis when he had almost died. That's very traumatic, when your child almost dies. She said she had kind of done some start and stop therapy, but never really had processed any of that. So for the next period of time, that's what she worked on. She worked on that thing. She said she found a therapist who introduced her to some new methods for that kind of thing, and I didn't know about these. Something called bilateral stimulation music, and the therapist also recommended eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, called EMDR therapy. So with these two things, she was able to use these and really go deep, process and release a lot of the trauma that was in her body that hadn't ever been dealt with and healed. So a lot of those things were healed, and then she says she was free then to releasing this trauma has freed me to more closely connect with what my physical body needs. Very interesting. For For her, she said that she's learning that healing isn't all at once. It comes in phases by taking one issue at a time and focusing on that until that's cleared and processed and released, and then moving on to another. She said she realizes that healing is not a straight line and it's never ending. I'm on a healing journey that will last a lifetime. A lifetime journey. Listening to the body. I think we sometimes sabotage ourselves. She said when I felt ashamed and frustrated for being overweight, I'm learning to go to the gym anyway. I am the master at finding reasons and justifications and rationalizations for why I shouldn't do something. I can do. But we want to really watch what it is that we want, what we really want. Let's see. She said, I simply had to make a little space for myself and for spirit. That's what I'm working on in my meditation room, is to make space for myself and spirit. And she has a little bit of advice. Don't wait, start now kind of thing. Make yourself a priority at least a few minutes every single day. Anyone here that can say, does that? Good for you. Good for you. I want to be like you. And this is why this article I think is so powerful for me, because it's a reminder. It's a reminder of what I knew at one time and then just let slip away. Another point is, I think we are adept at acclimating as humans. We can acclimate to a lot. My son asked me, my first ministry was in Texas, and after I moved back, my son was in the car with me, and he said, why are you driving so aggressively? Nobody has ever called me aggressive before. Fuzzy pink slippers, yes, but not aggressive. I didn't know what he meant. But then as I began to notice, if you're in the Dallas area, you have to drive pretty quickly. You have to get out in the traffic, and you have to go the speed they're going. It's just a different way of driving. I never consciously wanted or tried to drive differently. It just, you acclimate, you become used to, this is the way it is, and then I carried that with me to St. Louis from Texas until I realized what I was doing and began to consciously pull back on, don't follow that car so closely, and don't keep speeding up at us until the stop sign. And the aggression kind of melted away. But it's easy. I mean, we have to kind of keep an eye on ourselves. It's easy to become accustomed to the way everybody else is doing things. Not just to driving, maybe not even driving, but is it okay to be rude to somebody just because everybody else is? Is it okay to, we don't want to acclimate too much. And then I just want to share with you in her last paragraph, she says, I now believe we are all here to heal ourselves in 1,000 different ways, 1,000 different times. This journey is mine. I claim it, and I know I don't have to run from it anymore or ignore it because it seems too big and overwhelming. It never had to be an all or nothing thinking that I had for so long. Every day, my healing journey is simply a step back to my own center. There's always one more opportunity to connect with my own spiritual nature, to let the universe guide my steps, and to set a new healing intention. The unity principles, I think, that at our work in this are coming back to center, coming back to that place, time after time after time. Healing is a journey, many facets, many ways, many times, and then confidence that healing is possible. sometimes we have to adjust our mind's idea of what healing is. Stephen Hawking is a good example of, at one glance you might think, well, he's not healed, he's not whole. He's in a wheelchair. But he is. That the definition of what it looks like, he is a gifted was, I think he passed, didn't he? I believe he did. So sometimes healing may not look like we think it would. We're looking deeper, we're looking more at a soul level. We want to be watchful for, within ourselves, those beliefs in lack. I don't have the time. I don't have the means. I don't have whatever. One of the the next story in there, writing in there, I don't think I can pronounce correctly the last name. It's Reverend Carolyn Warner-Muwindi. I butchered that, I'm sure. It's just taking the first step toward healing. And what I got out of her writing was that she said that she points to, well, let's see, the first sentence I think of here. Have you ever forgotten who you are? Yes. Yes, I have. But what she says is, she said there's that adage, a journey is of 1,000 steps, you take that first step. And so then she has that, she says on that first step, she breaks that into 3 phases. The first phase is making the decision. Making the decision. And then, this isn't just like, oh, I think I'll lose 10 pounds. No, it's a decision. And then researching, it includes researching what you have to do to make that decision come along, to make it happen. I did that. As I was looking at myself, I was thinking about, I'm pretty healthy, knock on wood, and I'm grateful for that. I could be better. I could be a lot better. I can decrease the number of times I go to Sonic for that sign, for real. I take some medications. I'm not, wouldn't it be nice though if there weren't that many medications? I want to be fit, which means I walk once a week. I don't know. And what I came to with just the thinking about it and the knowing, and I've been on so many weight loss plans. I've been, Nutrisystem and Weight Watchers and Curves, had one for a while, and I don't know what all. I've done them. And when I do them, when I follow them, I lose weight, and I feel great. And then I start fudging and cheating, and then I go right back into the old habits. The research includes know what it is that you want, know what's involved in attaining whatever this decision is that you're looking for. And so I know myself well enough to know that I'm going to cheat if I can. If there's something, I need to be ready for that. I need to have a support system that I can call my sister or whoever and say, I'm really tempted right now, and she can help me get past that. I decided that by healthy eating, it's going to affect a lot of my life. Food is, I'm convinced, food is such an integral part of our experience of life and our health. So that's where I'm going to put my energy. So we do the research, we make a decision, and that's my decision. We'll see. I'm really wanting to do that. Then you make a commitment, and I alluded to this, but you commit. And have confidence that it can be done. And the third is like our 5th principle, it's a stepping onto the path. This little booklet has really kind of given me a nudge, maybe stronger than a nudge, push to, you say these things, Sharon, are you serious? Is this what you want? So it's given me support, given me a way, and all these other writers are writing about healing in some way. if you don't have something that's just right in your face, somewhere in here it says, when we are experiencing hurt, we're feeling offended, angry, or defensive, that might be a time that might be an invitation to create a time of healing. If we're feeling those feelings, it doesn't matter who or what, but if it's in there, that might be a time for healing. Norma Rosado is a minister, and she was working at the Village when I was going through ministerial school, just a powerful, loving woman. She's in Puerto Rico. She had a line, I think it was in hers. She calls it the voice within, come back, come home. I don't know if it happens for you this way, but every time I read those words, come back, come home, I can feel a stirring in my body. Come home means to me to be at one with my Creator. This, I think, is a way. This is a way to, all of this, a way to be centered more of the time. Not just on Sundays or on my prayer partner calls, or a way of living, a way of thinking, a way of being and acting from that centeredness. I think Paul wrote in, I believe it was Romans, I didn't pull this out, but he says it's that shift in thinking that Unity advocates so strongly. He says, think on these things, what is wise, what is good, what is true. Because as we can shift away from any ideas of lack, away from overwhelmedness, any of that shift, I believe I can do this. And then finally from Norma's writing, this sentence was also, as we shift our consciousness from illness to health, and from imperfect humans to divine creatures of God, we start healing ourselves. Reverend Norma Rosado. And so that is my wish for myself and my wish for every one of you, that you are able to remember without a 2x4 to your head, like mine. Choose, it's your choice. Every moment of every day there are choices we can make. I can go for a walk, or I can sit down and watch TV. I make choices all the time. I can call my friend on the phone. I can make those choices, those decisions, minute by minute, day by day, from that place of connection. And it is in that relationship and that oneness with Source that we have, that we're able to tune into and lean on. That foundation, that confidence, we too can be well on our way to healing. So let's take these ideas, and using the words that Jesus Christ taught when he wrote the Lord's Prayer, let's come together to say that together.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
I invite you to gently close your outer eyes. Allow yourself to relax into that sacred space within, that space of connection, that space that Charles Fillmore called the heart center. And as we rest there, we remember, we experience that oneness, we experience that feeling of safety, peace, love, and joy. And we breathe, keeping our minds and our bodies still, just allowing with our open minds and our open hearts, we become receptive. It's almost as if we are listening within. I love Eckhart Tolle's work, and that present moment work has helped me tremendously. And in times like this, in this moment, that's all that I'm aware of. Not what was, not what is to be, but right now. Right now, we're here together in this room, in this moment. This is oneness. We allow ourselves that approval, I guess, of deciding to step out, to be who and what we've always wanted to be, but maybe we forgot. Maybe we just put that aside thinking it was too late, too hard, too costly. We remember this truth of who and what we are. And what we discover is, as we do this, as we are aligned, as we open ourselves, we are at one with our Creator. We open ourselves to divine ideas. We open ourselves to that confidence that with God all things are possible. And we surrender. We trust and surrender. We are safe, and all is well. So I invite you, as we do often, or each week anyway, to just be in silence, to be at one, to be in the silence. Each of us is on a spiritual journey, a lifelong journey, and it is unique for each and every one of us. We are here with each other right now, not to get someone to be on your path together, but to support each other on our own individual paths. To give each other that support, that encouragement, that acknowledgement. You are a child of God, therefore all is possible. And we are grateful. We are grateful for this awareness, grateful for these little reminders that come along and can lead to such wonderful steps to take, conditions to overcome, new successes, new things to be experienced in our lives. I see joy multiplying in each of our lives. I see love multiplying. I see abundance multiplying. Because this is who and what we have been created to be. Christ in expression. And so we give thanks with much gratitude and with much love. We just simply say thank you, thank you, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
If we can see that we agree to live in harmony and set aside all that divides for the sake of humanity, would you say yes? Yes, yes, yes. If we can see that we agree to meet on common ground, plant a tree and spread the fruit of love all around, would you say yes? Yes, yes, yes. Come on, everybody, sing with me. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. If you believe in me, say yes, yes, yes. If you believe like I believe, we can make a better world. Let's sing to each other till everyone's concerned. Yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. But just to say we found a way to get all harmony. So forth we live with dignity from sea to shining. Oh, we say yes. Come on, everybody, sing. Yes, yes, yes. Whoa, yes, yes, yes. If you believe in me, say yes, say yes, say yes. Ooh, come on, everybody, sing with me. Yes, yes, yes. Woo, yes, 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 yes. If you believe in me, say yes, say yes,
Thank you so much, Reverend Sharon, for sharing that treasure that you found. I went out to check to see if we had any of those booklets up there, and I guess everybody gobbled them up as soon as we put them out. But for those of you who are interested, you can go to Unity, their Unity website, and you can actually download it. So you can have access to that treasure chest that Reverend Sharon found for us. So thank you.
Welcome.
Now is the time in our service when you're invited to share your gifts with this ministry. So if you have one, would you take it in your hands and let's join together in an offering blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Okay. And the announcements for today. Where are they? I'm sorry, we're next. Okay. Well, first thing I want to remind you about is the Oasis Food Pantry. So, a reminder, when you go shopping, just pick up a couple extra items and bring them in and put them in the box back there so we can help out the people in our community who need that help. And it feels really good to do that. And I don't always remember to do that. I need to add that to my grocery list, so that I always remember to pick up some items because it feels good to do that. And then I forget and I leave it in the car. So, all those, it doesn't matter. It eventually gets here and they get it. All right, the next thing is tomorrow night is the Light Seekers book discussion. So you're welcome to join that at any time you want. And Mari leads that and her email address is in there. So all I have to do is write her and say, I want to come tomorrow night. And she'll send you the link so you can be part of that. Take advantage of this community that we've created here with all these things we're doing that bring people together, because it deepens your life and it kind of, well, we need you. I mean, we need each other, don't we? So we come together, we support each other. And then 2 weeks from today, that we have our Unity in-house class that Bernetta is doing the book Discover Your Divinity. So again, you're welcome to join that. Take these home and write these things on your calendar, and then make a decision, as Rowan Sharon said, that you're going to come and participate. And the movie night, all the rest of the things are kind of far out, but that's why you can take it home and add it to your calendar so you'll remember all those things. And I believe that's all the announcements. Did I miss anything? Okay. All right, now we have another prayer that we say after the offering, and I'm going to find that. And there it is. Okay, together in a consciousness of divine love, we receive as we give abundantly, magnifying these gifts and pouring them out in service. We celebrate prosperity, and so it is. Amen. Okay, now one of my favorite things, we gather around the outside of the pews here, and we come with our prayer request, and